Zoom recording, and we are going to go live onto Facebook. Okay, Deb, fingers crossed this works.
Okay.
Choose where you want it. I'm sharing on my timeline. All right, beautiful. Well, hopefully the technology is going to work, and I just need to find you again, Deb, because I've just lost you from my screen. Okay, and you're still not there. So let's have a look. Here we go. So I think it's working all right now. Let's just hope. All right, so I'm really excited and I've been excited all morning, and hopefully the technology is going to work. Here you go. I've got you back. Beautiful.
Oh.
I'm just going to let Facebook do its own thing, because at the very least, we've got the recording on our webinar that seems to be really working well. Okay, so I am excited, very excited today to be talking to you, Deb. Gosh, you know, you really are an industry expert in communication, and you know, we've had lots of chats about this, and you know, we brought you in not long ago doing our you did your dream board or your vision, you know, mini workshop, which was absolutely fantastic. That's, you know, getting people to their goals. But today I really wanted to talk to you about how you apply the personality profiling in your business, because, you know, yes, it's all about business communication today, but you know, in reality, you can be a mum, running the home, being the leader of the home, and if you understand a little bit about your husband or your wife's personality, you can often get the very best out of them and the very best out of, you know, the situation, or the very best out of the outcome of a situation, which is really good. And so it's not just applicable to the workplace and, you know, teams, or, you know, if you're a businesswoman like yourself, you know, entrepreneur, and, you know, you're growing an organization. It really, this type of communication applies to every aspect to your life, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for having me again, Isha. I just love talking to you. I think one of the biggest things is when you have a little bit of adversity in life, you actually need to develop yourself. And I came across this a very long time ago. The fact that, you know, when you're talking to people, there's a lot of different personalities out there. And to get the best out of everybody is really important that you know who you're actually talking to, and you can work it out very, very quickly. You know that I'm not an introvert and I'm an extrovert the moment you say hello to me. So, and you just know that, and you know when you're talking to people whether you're very much task orientated or people orientated, and you can see that very, very quickly. But I think the best way that I've taught this to people, and also my family and friends and things like that, is think about it as what we call the bird personality test, and type is the DOPE test. That's DOPE. So it's dove, owl, peacock, eagle. So you can automatically think that if I were to give you those four bird types, what would you be, Isha? What would you pick?
Oh, right now, probably I'm very much in eagle mode.
Yes.
You know, trying to get all this technology happening. I'm direct. I'm, you know,
exactly.
I'm a bit excitable, but then I suppose maybe, I don't know, what is it? The dove comes in.
Yes.
Because I'm wanting to make sure that it's all okay for everybody. And I'm really concerned about what people think.
And you protect us all, and you make sure that we're all okay, and you make sure that everything is fine. See, I make sure everybody has fun doing it all. But you also, I have the eagle in me because I'm very driven and I like to do that. But the owl, I need to bring people in with the owl, because I'm not a figures person. I know where I want to go and I know what I want to do. But I just want to get there. So you sort of need that. But I've also got that very dove loving, nurturing side as well. So we actually have the whole four personalities. That's what we have together. So depending on, you know, when you can actually change a little bit when you actually do the test. I've done the test numerous times and come out very differently. A lot of people can come out and have very, very similar numbers for each one. So it's a it's a 10, 15-minute test that you actually do. You ask the questions, and you can see easily whether you're an eagle, peacock, dove, or an owl.
Yes.
Now, if you're an eagle, peacock, they're usually, if you find, have you got someone that's a bossy boss and that likes you do this, and do it now. That's your eagle, and that's your driven. Now, they're not going to get the best out of people, being the dove, owl, if they don't know how to communicate with them. Okay, so when you actually look at that, if you're looking an eagle, when you like communicate with an eagle, you need to tell them that you need to focus on task, you need to talk about results, and you're very businesslike, very matter of fact, don't waffle, and provide concise, precise, organized information for the eagles, and you need to be direct.
Yeah.
All right, so if you want something from an eagle, don't sit there going, now I'd really like to see if you'd like to do this. It's like, no, all right, I'd like to see you do this at this particular time. How do you feel about that? And you'll get the best out of it. Now, if you were talking to a peacock, they want to know how it best suits them, and they love to develop relationships. And they love to show how it's going to benefit them and all their family and friends.
Yes.
So, and you ask like a lot of who questions, and be very warm and approachable. And you can ask them how they're feeling, and ask them about themselves. And they're very happy to tell you about themselves, but they'll also care about you as well. And you need to minimize details. All right. You just tell them what they need to do and how much fun it's going to be. And that's what you're looking at with the peacock, which, as a lot of you would know, I'm a bit of a peacock.
So how do you identify them then? They're the people, the men and women that love to have fun at the party. You can identify them pretty quick.
You can identify them pretty quickly. You'll be able to, because there's different personalities. See, like, sometimes you go, like, I might go to a party, and it might take me a little while to warm up, because I might know those people. If I went to my party, I would be a peacock straight away. Yeah. But when you're actually looking at people, especially in the business, I was, just to tell you a little bit, like, I was a real estate agent. I did a party plan for a start. Then I was a real estate agent, travel agent, and now I'm mentoring with LTLA full time. So this has been fantastic, because I have a lot of people that are very private, and and as I'm mentoring them, but they want to know how. Some people want to know how each thing is done. So they're my owl doves. They're very private. They want to know everything, how everything works, and what everything's done, and why is this happening, and why is that happening? Why aren't we allowed to eat this? Why are we allowed to eat that? And I have to sit back and go, okay, we have an owl dove here. Yes. Whereas the peacock just says, what do I do? I said, right, here, this is what you do. This is what you do day by day by day, and just follow it for 30 days. And they go, oh, okay, I can do that. Whereas the eagle wants to, okay, you're doing this, and you're doing, how can I get more people to do it with me? So that's when you start, the business side comes of it. But each one of the bird personality types is still very good at the business. You just have to tell them differently about the business.
Yes, so you have to speak to them in their language, don't you? So that they can hear. And I think that's where communication breaks down so much. We tend to speak in our own language, thinking that the other person is going to relate to us. But unless you know what their personality's like, then you can't communicate effectively.
That is exactly right. And it is a great tool. It is a great tool to have. When you actually do the personality test for yourself, you will actually be able to tell, very quickly. When I met Stacey, my beautiful business partner and mentor as well, I knew what she was, and I knew that yourself and Ian and Charlie,
Yeah.
all of those. And I had a really, really good idea of what each of you were. So therefore I knew who I needed to go to actually get the information that I needed.
Yes.
So, but each one of us being different personalities at different times, you can actually develop yourself and develop more of a, if you're an owl dove, you could develop more eagle peacock. But like you just said, Isha, with trying to get this live together, we were technologically, and I
challenged.
was lost. Yes, challenged, that's the word. But I was a bit lost. I'm going, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. But so we brought in other people to actually do that for us. So which is how a business works magnificently, having all of those people, and we pull on our strengths and all of that. So I think basically with communication, the way that you actually do work is that each person that you're looking at, you'll be able to answer, like, depending on, you can ask her a couple of questions to be able to work out quickly in whether it be a work situation, a social situation, a partner situation. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll be able to work out quickly, and it's easy to go, do you think they're a dove, owl, peacock or eagle? You can work that out. You can work that out very, very, very quickly.
And I think we can work that out really well online too, because this isn't just when you're meeting somebody, is it? And you're seeing them in the physical, because we run, our whole business online.
Yes.
You can often see the clues in the written words and how they write.
Yes, absolutely.
You get the people that just write that one sentence and it's very direct. You can start to think, oh, am I dealing with an eagle here?
Yes.
Or maybe they've written a long paragraph. My stepson's like this, and he'll write a long paragraph because he's very analytical. So that's the owl coming out. And if you don't match the written form, you can lose people online too. It's interesting.
And I would read half of that and I'd be going, next, because I'm a peacock eagle and I'm impatient. Okay. I'm a little bit impatient, but I have to draw on my owl to actually go, no, just read the lot.
Read it.
That type of thing. Yeah. But with each of the types, it's really quite easy, because if you were looking at a lot of the doves and the owls won't just if I sent you some information about our program that we do, you would actually, I know the questions that come back, I know immediately who they are and who I'm speaking to. And it's really important that you communicate back with them. And just, when, if you're looking at an owl and a dove, okay, here's the information. I will get back to you in this particular time. When what questions do you have for me? Just keep them coming through. And when would you like to take the next step? Whereas with me, you'd be just saying, I'd be going, right, what do I do next? Straight away.
So as a peacock,
I want it now. As a peacock and an eagle, we'd know, okay. And so it's really important, that question is the next step. When would you like to take the next step? Give me time to think about it. The owl and the dove will say. Eagle, peacock, no, I'm ready to go, or no, it's not for me. And they will tell you very quickly. But the most important thing is, if you don't communicate with that question, then you won't get an answer. So when you're actually got a customer or a lead or whatever your mentees, it's really important that you ask questions all the time, and then you will have an answer, because leads coming through are really important, that you actually know who you're speaking to, and then you'll be able to very, very quickly know who you've got in front of you and how you need to handle them. Sometimes they need a day or two to think about it, and that's fine. And then they'll come back to you with that question. And I always go, when would you like to take the next step? And that has been the turnaround key to my business.
That's brilliant, because you're building a very substantial business, and you're dealing with a lot of people.
Oh, so there is a lot of people, absolutely. But it's an easy way of working out how to communicate. I mean, it doesn't, always work, because sometimes you might have an eagle come out of an owl that just has gone, well, why didn't you get back to me straight away? And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you just apologize, and you just, then
just
start.
Exactly. And you don't know what's happening in people's lives, but this actually helps people. And I always say, when you're asking a question, always ask a question and always listen, no matter which personality. It is so, so, so important. And if you're speaking to a dove, calm down a little bit. If you're an eagle and a peacock, you need, like me, I need to calm down and relax and breathe. And I always do 1, 2, 3 before I speak, but always be attentive and listen to what somebody is saying, and then think about your response, and then 1, 2, 3, and then respond, because it might be something when you're going over it in your head that's not the right thing to say, and think about who you're talking to. Because you don't want them to go rah back at you.
So communication, look, it's fascinated me, and it's fascinated me for years. So what I hear you saying, there's a when you're meeting somebody in person, there's a bit of mirroring that goes on.
Yes.
So if you're wanting to build rapport with somebody really quickly, then you match them. And there's a lot of thought that actually goes into it at first, but then it becomes quite natural, doesn't it?
Yes.
And so you're right. So if somebody's coming up and they've got a flamboyant personality and they speak really quick, and they're really quite loud, then that's really hard for somebody like me, who is very much a little bit more introverted.
Yes.
And I do sometimes talk fast when the eagle starts to come out, and I need to be direct, and I'm sure there must be a little bit of peacock in me, because
Oh no, there is. There is.
But you really have to be conscious at first, don't you? So it's about sort of just, and this isn't about judgment, and a lot of people think that, when we have these types of conversations, is this, you're putting somebody in a box, in a category, and you're judging someone. But it's not.
It's not. No, it's not. You are going to have, I have a lot of friends in my group. And there's a lot of personalities in the group. And the way that you have a lot of friends in your group is you understand the personalities that are there. And when I'm speaking to, a couple of friends, you don't talk differently. You just, what you're doing is thinking about them and asking, because if you spoke to an eagle or a peacock and you asked about them, they would just go and talk about them. Whereas if you're speaking to an owl or a dove, you would actually need to ask a lot more questions, and it's exactly the same for business. And I used to be able to see, especially when I was doing real estate, and used to take names and numbers, and people used to walk in. My other half used to say, and I used to say, she's the leader of that. She thinks she's not, but she is. And I said, she's the peacock, but she's making out she's a dove. And you just, and you know how to actually talk to them. It's about talking to people, communicating with people. And it works out, you will get used of doing it. Once you've done it, and once you've done the personality exercise yourself, you will actually go, oh, they're the peacock, there's the dove. And then you say, sometimes I look at my daughter and say, oh, now there's a little bit of eagle coming out of you, because she runs her own business, but she's a dove. She's such a dove and a beautiful personality, but she also has the peacock come out of her because she's so artistic.
Yes,
so
she is.
But she's also running a business, and she's got some eagle in there as well. So whereas I'm more of a peacock eagle, and I'm a people pleaser rather than doing that. So does that sort of make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of these personality profiling systems, I suppose, out there. I relate to the birds. I think that's really clever. We used to do a green, red, blue, yellow, so I can draw the parallel between both the colors, and so the green would very much be that owl, the green, the owl how very analytical, you know, lots of questions, give them lots of details. They're the ones with the big long messages, where the eagles are the reds in the color personality, and you know, they're very direct. You know, what are you doing today? Or you know, there's not, and you know, there's variations to the rule, like you say. There's often a little bit of everything in all of us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and you know, depending on the situation, it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And each of the personalities, when you actually do it, you can actually, if they were to buy something, what's the best way that they buy it? If you're looking to, how do they handle conflict? How do they, you know, when they drive, you know, you'd know a person, you know, how do they drive? Do they drive? Are they very careful? Are they you know, and you can also learn a lot about your partner, that when you're actually doing it, to go, so I need to be a little bit more analytical when I'm telling my partner. I need to, you know, when we're doing something, or, you know, you're going on a holiday, and instead of going, oh yeah, I want to go to this place because of that, because of the beautiful beaches and because it's going to do that, he wants to know how long it takes to get there. How are we going to get there? How much is it going to cost? All of that. I just want to know where we're going and how beautiful it's going to be and how much spending money I've got. That's all I want to know. So it can go into any, whether it be business, whether it be personal, whether it can be anything like that. But it's a lot of fun to actually look at the bird rather than have it, because it can be very complex looking at it. And when you're answering the question, you can answer the question business-wise in your own head, and you can answer it personally as well. So, you know, sometimes personally, you might be a little bit more, quieter in yourself, like yourself, Isha. So you could be a quieter person personality-wise at home.
That's right.
But when you're on here and you're running your business, you are very much the eagle peacock.
Yes.
So
that's
yes,
right.
and we all have a bit of everything in us. It's just a matter of recognizing the most prominent one that's coming out. And you're right, when you sit down with someone and you're asking a lot of questions and not a lot coming back, that's not a judgment. That means I've got an eagle. I've got a dove or an owl in front of me. So therefore, I have to slow down. I have to relax. And I'm going to take this slower because I need to calm myself down. It's not because of them. It's because I need to do that. And you will get the best out of that person by sitting there, having a coffee with them, and you'll be asking a lot of questions. And then you need to zip it and wait and let them talk. And you will get the best out of that person.
And it's about, as soon as you focus on the other person, when you take yourself out of the equation, and this is in any industry, you know, it's in really any situation, when you start to focus on the other person, when you start to understand, like with the personality profiling, who they are, when you start to ask questions, like you say, when you start to ask the questions and you just zip your mouth and you just listen to them, that's really when you get the very best out of them. And then you actually win, because you get the very best out of the situation, whatever the topic is, whatever the situation is. So it's a good skill set to have.
And the person will be very comfortable with you because they'll build up the trust. You'll build up a relationship, and then you'll be, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, it doesn't matter. But you will build that up. You will build the trust, and you'll have a beautiful friendship or business partnership. It doesn't matter, and that's how I know that, you know, we're going to grow our business with all of the. I mean, I've got lots of different animals, birds in my team, but each of them are precious in their own right. Because what makes this zoo beautiful is all of the animals in it, and we all need each other to shine at different times.
Yes, so, it's playing to each other's strengths, isn't it?
It is. It is, and that's why, you know, I love helping people, and I love doing these, you know, these lives and Zooms to be able to help everybody, because I know that other people will help me with other particular things that I'm not, that are my weaknesses. And everybody's got strengths and weaknesses. Let's work together and make it better, especially, you know, this crazy time at the moment. It's really important to actually, some people will bring out other different personality types when they're, you know, in these particular times with the, you know, COVID and so forth.
Yeah. So stress, absolutely.
Oh yes.
So so we can be analysing somebody, and then a crisis takes over, or you know something goes on for them, and they get stressed. That's when you often see the other side of the personality come out. So it's you
do, and you don't know what to do. You've got this strong. Strong independent partner that you've got that is just has been there, and then say that they've lost their job and they're not the financial winner anymore, and they've just resided within themselves, and all of a sudden they become a dove. What do you do with that person? But you need to actually nurture that to bring that eagle back out in them. So it's really, really, really important to actually know that each of the different dove, owl, peacock, eagle can come out at any time. So it's a matter of nurturing that. And sometimes you need to be the eagle at one particular time. So, and most of us mothers are eagles, because we will protect our little babies. Without any cost whatsoever. It does not matter. We will just protect them. And but I hope I hope that sort of is an explanation that is okay, Nisha.
Oh, no, it's absolutely brilliant. And we've got a great questionnaire that if anybody wants to message me, then we can forward that on. And what a brilliant thing to do with, you know, if you are running a business, you can do it with your teams. If you're, you know, and even, you know, sometimes if you're just dealing with customers, you can have some fun with your customers and start to understand, you know, what your customers like. But also you can do this in family relationships. You know,
definitely.
over last Christmas, I've like I said, I've always loved the whole personality profiling and understanding, you know, who my stepchildren are, who my partner is, who my children really are, and what drives them. I bought them all a copy of love languages. I can't remember Gary Jackson, or I can't remember the actual author's name, but Love Languages. And to tie all of this in together has been absolutely beautiful, because with love languages, you can start to see what actually drives them. You know, with your system, with is it disc or dope? with your bird,
dope, yes. Disc or dope, yes.
With your dope system, with your bird system,
yes.
You know, you can identify their personality, but with love languages you can actually get to see what drives them. And if they're a person that needs those, you know, words of affirmation, or you know, maybe they're a person who just loves gifts, or you know, maybe they're that person that you've got to nurture and give lots of touch and physical touch with. You know, if you can understand their love language combined with, you know, their personality type with the bird system, you know, it really makes for, gosh, an enriched life in some ways.
Yes.
Because you're all on the same page, you understand each other, and you're sort of moving together. You know, you're moving forward together rather than always coming at loggerheads and fighting.
Absolutely. You know, people just say, no, they're always right. Well, take a step back and think about who they are, and then you can actually do that.
Yeah, and that person, you know, that person, when you're thinking, they're always right, they always have to be right. Well, you know, focus on, right, what do I love about that person, and how can, there's a beautiful dog, and how can that person use those personality traits, you know, more effectively, you know, because that's the leadership, isn't it? That person that's always right, you know, they've got the leader in them, and, you know, that's about fostering and developing that skill set and channeling them in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have better relationships when you think about the, you know, the personalities in there. So definitely.
Absolutely. So I think
Yes.
if we just recap, you know, really the big takeaway for me is not to judge people. We never judge people, but
Yes.
but in order, you know, I think there is a bit of human nature to just have an element of judging the type of person they are so that you can, you know, get the best out of them. So it's about just stepping back from your own desires and wants.
Yes.
Look at the person that you're communicating with, try and sum up their personality, and then almost like mirror a little bit what their personality is. And that's really the way you can get the very best out of people.
Yes, and usually, like you said, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's text, you can actually tell very quickly what type of personality they are. But just a couple of questions, you'll be able to see very clearly who they are and what sort of personality they are. But just keep dove, owl, peacock, eagle in your head, and at that particular time, you'll be able to say, oh, yes, I've got a dove, or I've got a peacock, or I've got this. If they won't shut up, you've got a peacock.
Yes.
And that, you know, if you're having to ask a lot of questions, you've probably got an owl and a dove. So, yeah.
It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
It is fascinating. We could talk about this all afternoon.
But look, for the audience, for the listeners in, please message us. We'll pass that questionnaire. I'll just make sure that I've got the right copy, so I'll message you after, Deb, and we can forward that on, and people can be using it, like I said before, in all of different spheres of their relationships and you know, communication relationships, basically. I'm just, thank you so much for your time, hun. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy woman, but we really needed the industry expert to talk about it. I'm certainly going to go out and see if I can get, I know there is a book as well. We should probably pop in the comments section the book. I might just, get that off you after. But like I said, anybody that is interested, send us a quick message and we'll send you the questionnaire, and you can have a play around with it and have some fun with it.
Absolutely.
All right,
thank you so much, Isha.
Oh, thank you once again, and we'll chat soon. All right.
No
Take
worries.
care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.